Good evening and welcome to Midnight Media Reviews. This movie sucks, / whatever we're calling it now. Tonight, we're reviewing Bodies, 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 which came out sometime in the recent years.
Was this a 2021 release?
I think so.
This is what happens when I don't take notes.
This was
Directed by Helena Rain. I just looked up how to say that.
Nice. Who wrote it? Can you say their names?
Sarah Delap and Kristen Rupinian. The printer didn't print that very well. I don't know what that letter is.
You're supposed to have this memorized.
Anyways, starring Pete Davidson's in it. Cringe. Just kidding.
People like him.
yeah.
People.
Some people like. I actually don't mind Pete Davidson. I think I take him for exactly what he is, and I'm all right with that.
Yeah, he was fine on SNL.
Yeah. So this movie was it was like the quintessential definition of the word Zoomer. I don't think there's any other word that could describe this movie in a single word.
I don't think any of these people are young enough to be Zoomers. Nah, that could be wrong about that. Definitely not Pete Davidson, though.
But he's a Zoomer comedian / actor. They love it.
Yeah. True. Most of the people we listen to and watch are Gen
Because he's
X.
emaciated and covered in tattoos, so he's awesome. Our generation.
The entire story is about a bunch of rich kids who get together at a mansion.
Hurricane party.
Yeah, to do a
Hurricane party!
And yeah, like the first half of the movie is just them being rich kids.
You can't say that.
Slur. Yeah, so basically, and then the two main characters, Sophie and Bee, played by Amanda Stenberg, am I saying that right? And Maria Bakalova are like, Amanda Stenberg is like the black sheep of the friend group, kind of exiled a little bit, and they didn't expect her to show up. She never responded.
Does she know the other characters?
Yeah, they were old friends, like high school, I'm guessing, or high school.
They never really clarify. They're just old friends. And I did think it was really the one part that I thought was funny at the end when she's like, why is it we all do coke, but I'm the only one with a problem? And she's like, isn't it strange that I'm the only black one too? I thought that was really funny.
It's kind of a whodunit movie where people start dying, and it's like.
Which is hilarious.
Like
that's what we call it after the ending.
Oh yeah. With a twist. Uh-oh.
I got short.
Yeah, so you say it's a Zoomer movie. It is definitely supposed to be that, though.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a very, for the young generation movie.
Yeah, I don't know that it is, but it's supposed to be.
Right.
Well, it was like the peak of meta cinema because it was written as satire of the Zoomer generation while also being extremely like potent Zoomer generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, mission accomplished, I guess, if that's what they were going for. Personally, I'll just say right off the gate, I did not like this movie. Every single character irritated me, with the exception of Greg, just because I thought he was funny.
Yeah, he pissed me off too. You ever been around that sleazeball guy who's way older than everyone else and plowing
Well, that's
somebody?
how I thought at
It's
first.
like really annoying that he's there and he's shameless about it. It's like, dude, go away.
Yeah, but the only reason I kind of liked him is because when they all surround him, he like grows balls and he like grabs the knife away and he's like, "What are y'all gonna do?" Like, I don't know, that really made me laugh.
So we going right into the spoilers then, or?
Yeah, I mean, spoilers for Bodies, 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 I guess.
We should probably just
I don't
say
think
that
we
at
can
the
talk about
at
it
the top
without,
of everything.
What?
I don't think we can talk about it thoroughly without spoiling.
So what I think's really cool is, you know, when you take like a machete or a katana
Yeah.
and you got a bottle of champagne and you pop the cork off?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty neat.
Apparently the actor,
It can go wrong.
Lee Pace, learned how to do that for the movie.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the actor that plays Greg.
Yeah.
I've seen someone do it in real life before.
Really?
Yeah, did they get Pete Davidson?
No. They were smart enough not to be doing it after nap.
Yeah, spoilers. Pete Davidson is an idiot. That's kind of like the reason the whole movie happens.
Well, they're all having a hurricane party.
And they're all coked up, and they're all idiot Zoomers who no one ever thought maybe we can, like, start the car somehow.
I thought that was odd.
No one ever tried to, like, fix the battery. They were just like, oh,
So when they
car's dead.
When they made their way to the car, did it turn over at all? Or did it just
She
click?
left the mirror down in the beginning scene with the
The battery
light on,
died.
and
Yeah.
so she killed the battery.
But he's asking if it turned over, and
But I don't know.
honestly think
They're all useless rich kids.
the horn goes off. So there was some battery left because the horn wouldn't go off without the battery.
That's true, but it doesn't take a lot of battery. It takes a
Yeah.
lot more battery to crank an engine than.
Yeah,
also
no,
will
I'm
have
saying
some
it probably
pressure built
turned
up
over.
still on it.
Even if it just clicked, you think a house like that doesn't have a jump starter? Just like those little portable ones?
None of these characters know a single thing about how a car works,
Yeah.
or about how anything in the world that they use.
Did we until we found out? Remember that one time?
I was, but
They
I
know
was
how to make
honestly,
TikTok videos and they know how to do drugs. That's all they know how to do.
honestly shocked when one of them knew what a fuse box was. That surprised me. She's like, I'll go flip the fuses. And I was like, you know
You don't
what that
flip
is?
fuses.
You know what I mean.
Do you mean the breaker box?
Yes.
You flip the breaker?
Yes.
I'm just saying he was shocked that they knew what it was.
Yeah. But
That
I
was
think
very funny.
the film is like a good job of making fun of itself. Yeah, I think it's or not necessarily itself, but its own content matter and audience in a tasteful way that's not like smashing the audience too much.
I guess maybe that's where you and I disagree on it slightly, because to me, it almost felt like a love letter to Zoomers in a weird way. Like, it didn't feel satirical. It felt like, because so in a lot of like satires, you know, like something like Airplane or Scary Movie or something, like they'll make fun of something by showing how ridiculous it is, and then like, you know, pointing out the joke. They even do it in a horror movie like Scream, you know. But in this, like, they never blatantly point out that any of the shit that they're doing is stupid. They're just kind of like, yeah, this is
Right. Do you need to get spoon fed?
There's this.
You can see that it's.
There's the scene at the end before they all fight over the gun and end up shooting the one girl, where all their BS kind of surfaces, and they're like, you love this little rags to riches, and they say to one girl, narrative that you live your life by, but your parents are wealthy and you never struggled. She freaks out, and they're like, well, we only hang out with you out of pity or something like that to one of them. And they all kind of rip each other's BS personalities to shreds in that scene, which is where they do pull it apart and like say like these people are by and large very privileged people, especially these characters, and by and large, you know, American kids are, you know, comparatively to the rest of the world.
Yeah, but these were like wealthy. She's like, our parents are rich, but your parents are rich.
Yeah, exactly. That's awfully loud. Hold for the airplane.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Someone took my car.
I thought Pete Davidson. I mean, it's funny because like most of the beginning of the movie is stuff that you see in the trailer. You know what I mean? Like all the, I wanna, you know, I look like
You know what I mean? I look like I and that's the vibe I like to put out.
you know, what he's, yeah, that kind of stuff. And it was like,
Look like I what?
I don't want to bleep myself out
Why not?
because it's work.
It's not that hard.
Really?
Probably.
Really?
Yeah, you just take that bit of audio, highlight it, and hit delete. Bam. And then add a bleep.
Bam! Wow!
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. You just upload it and you hit edit. Everything's good.
That's, you just hit the edit button.
That's all I did. Was I supposed to do more?
A lot of the dialogue was funny. Sometimes it strayed into being pretty cringy.
Yeah. What did Taylor think of that?
At the end, we both kind of just looked at each other like, what the hell did we just watch? But I don't think either of us disliked it.
I remember thinking it was decent.
Yeah, I mean, after everything's revealed at the end, I was kind of like, Oh. I kind of wanted there to be a killer because I liked the idea of these people being hunted down.
You know what? I'll take back my point. I'll take this back because Jack just made a very good point. I said that they never actually point out the satirical nature of the comedy. That's not true because they do with the ending.
Yeah.
The ending is, oh, Pete Davidson killed himself. We're all a bunch of stupid Zoomers who freaked out and started murdering each other.
Basically.
That's the point of the movie. The comedy is, like, here's the punchline. The end is, there was no killer. These are all idiot rich kids.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I'll take that back.
I feel like you're really leaning into the Zoomer hate. Where I would go is having a problem with just entitled children.
Yeah.
We've had those for generations.
I think that's all of them.
I think
Damn kids. Get off my lawn.
entitled children and Zoomers are kind of one and the same. So
What?
Shots are being fired. Comment section's lighting up.
It might be one, no, 3 of them.
but anyways,
Well, I did like that the girlfriend, played by Maria Bakalova, is like not wealthy. She's like an immigrant or an orphan, something like that. She's like Eastern European immigrant.
Yeah.
Is the girlfriend of the main character. And she's like wicked nervous to be around these really wealthy people, and she has nothing in common with them. Mm-hmm. And she like baked zucchini bread and hands it to Pete Davidson, and he's like,
a super dick about it.
yum. Because everyone else brought like, I forget what the other
Cocaine.
like Coke and stuff like that.
Which, I mean, if my gifts are being compared to cocaine, they're
okay.
probably going to come up
Here's the
lacking.
point,
I
though.
like zucchini bread.
No, zucchini bread is delicious.
This bugged me a
How
little
do you feel
bit.
about zucchini bread?
I don't. So here's something that bugged me a little bit because it was one of those things where they like purposely put it in the movie to try and set up a red herring, which I get, you got to do that, but it, in retrospect, makes 0 sense and really bothered me when Emma runs into Sophie in the hallway in the last third of the movie after Pete Davidson is dead, after Greg is dead, and she kisses her and she's like, why did you think I'd want that? And Emma looks all like messed up, like she's on acid or something, and they make it look like she's the one who went insane and is like started killing people, and she's like, oh, sorry. And then she walks away, and the next time we see her, she's dead. And you're like, well, okay. And then later, Sophie's like, oh, I pushed her down the stairs. I didn't tell anyone. That made 0 sense.
Wait, didn't she? Someone got pushed down the stairs.
Yeah, Sophie pushed Emma down the stairs.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, why did she do that?
there's no explanation for it. 0.
What? Have you never wanted to push Josh down a set of stairs?
Yeah, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But you might.
I guess we should
If you had enough cocaine and wealth.
We kind of
generational
also
wealth.
skipped the part where like their first night at this house, they all do a bunch of drugs and black out.
They only spend one night at the house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's all playing out over the second day and night.
No, it's
No,
all
just
over the
that
course
one
of
night.
night.
With the
Well, they all
hurricane.
black out, don't they? And no one remembers.
Nope.
No?
No, am I making that up?
No, yeah, pretty sure.
They do drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
okay.
do a lot of drugs.
That'll happen.
And then Pete Davidson is a dick, and Greg's like,
Well, he gets really jealous about Greg.
yeah, and Greg's
Oh
like,
my
I'm
God,
going to
yeah.
bed. And then after Greg goes to bed, Pete Davidson gets all puffy and walks outside.
Yeah.
And then, there's like 2 minutes of random stuff happening, and then they find Pete Davidson dead.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the night is the girls running around like idiots and killing each other.
Because they
And
all
Greg.
secretly hate one another. They're like frenemies.
Yeah.
Which my favorite character is Alice, played by Rachel. I don't know how to say her last name.
Really? She was your favorite character?
Yeah, she seems to be
Mrs. Libra Moon?
the most aware that everyone is faking their personalities and that her personality is also fake as shit, but she knows it. Like when they have the scene where they all break down and scream at each other, she like gets the most real before she gets shot.
First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long fucking time.
And she's like, takes her facade off, for a second and is like, gives it real talk to everyone else, kind of.
Your parents are upper middle class. You fucking bitch!
In a really bitchy way, but she seems like the whole time she's aware that they're all just completely fake and that it's all bullshit.
My favorite character was definitely Max.
Oh man, you took it from me.
Why is that?
Well, they reference Max a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think he might be the one killing them
I
too.
remember when I watched it, I kept it, hey, where's Max? Where's Max?
He was the main red herring.
Well, what about Max? Where's Max been this whole time? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the scene of them tearing each other apart was pretty funny. But it was just like, I don't know, man. Maybe this just was not a movie built for me. You know what I mean?
That's a good thing to recognize. Sometimes you are not the target audience.
I was not the target audience for this movie.
You're often not the target audience.
There was like zero practical gore effects of any kind. But it wasn't really a horror movie. You know what I mean? It was kind of a suspense thriller comedy, sort of.
Yeah, satire of a
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was a deconstruction of wealthy youth,
That's not a genre.
which felt horrific to me.
Gotcha.
an
Because you
avant-garde
relate to
deconstruction.
wealthy youth.
Oh, yeah.
The deconstruction of that
Yeah, I
is
got a lot.
horrifying.
I have a lot in common with wealthy youth. And growing up in the jungles of Vermont.
You're an heir.
Heir to the Ramsay throne.
Yeah. Well, there's not much left of that
I was gonna
anymore,
say,
is
soon
there?
to be just a toilet.
Jesus.
Yeah, when I first saw Sophie, like when they first walk up and then she introduces everyone and she's got like that shit-eating grin on her face, and I'm like, okay, this is either they're giving away who the killer is really early, or they're throwing up major red herrings.
They
And-
have to keep the film going.
Well, yeah, I kind of liked all the red herrings.
Yeah. No, I will say this. For what the movie was going for, I thought that it had a clever ending. And I liked the way that they got there. And
With the phone? Mm-hmm. With the phone. How they got there. Is
yes,
that what you're
yes.
referring to?
But
Yes.
no, but what I was referring to is the entire story.
Yes, but no.
Well, I didn't get the last scene when Max finally returns and it's Sophie and B outside by the pool, and she hands him the cell phone. Do you remember that?
No, she doesn't hand him the cell
She
phone.
says,
She says,
"We
I
have
have
service."
service.
Yeah. What is it?
Because they're basically implying that when Zoomers of people of that generation lose connection with
they
the
go
internet
mad.
and with social media, they go insane. They don't know what to do, and they start killing each other.
How long does each president serve their term?
I really don't know.
Take a guess, around how long?
Like time?
Yeah.
An hour?
But as soon as they're reconnected, which takes the form of Max coming back and then the
It's a lot
power
of
going on,
metaphorical thing, yeah.
yeah, they're like,
That's
oh,
right.
sanity's back.
I'm just an idiot, but I like that.
Yeah,
That's cute.
like I said, for what they were going for, it works. I just was. Okay, so let me give you an example. Have either of you guys ever seen the original Scream?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yes.
Decently well.
It's a good film.
Yes, it was a good film.
hasn't been
I like
that
it.
That was the first satirical horror movie ever made.
All right. Ever?
Can you think of another one?
No, but I'm not you. You
Yes.
tend to be able to think of these sorts
There
of
may
things.
have been
I feel
other
like if I looked it up on the Bing,
satirical horror films, but not to the extent of Scream.
not that successful.
No, not that successful, but also not that. Because Scream was like, it was basically the first attempt at a meta film, because it was, establishing the rules of a horror movie within a horror movie, and then following those rules, and it was very clever. But it was also still a friggin' horror movie. You know what I mean? Like there was blood and guts, and I mean, not as much as
Lillard.
today, but yeah. And
I love movies too.
yeah, so it had all the elements of a horror movie, but there was also this really funny satirical side to it. And that was such a thin line to walk that's why it was so successful.
I don't feel
they
they
did it so
did that
well.
successfully with the more recent ones.
I mean, after 6 sequels, it's like, how do you keep it going? But my point is that I think Bodies, Bodies, Bodies crossed that line completely into satirical comedy and kind of lost that horror movie aspect. You know what I mean? I would consider this more of a comedy than a horror film.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah.
And that was my issue with it, because going into it, I was thinking this was going to be a horror movie with satirical elements, and it ended up being a comedy
Oh, yeah.
with
Horror elements.
more like
Sort of.
thriller.
Thriller doesn't feel... Slasher elements, how about that?
Sure. And that was disappointing to me, I guess. You know, I don't know how you guys felt about it.
I wasn't expecting it to be too serious.
I wasn't expecting it to be any good at all.
So you were pleasantly surprised.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually, yeah. I think it was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Nothing against Pete Davidson, but I'm like, he's the main draw of this film? I don't know about that. Speaking of which, I really appreciated that they killed him off first.
That's funny.
Well, I don't think he's a very good actor outside of playing Pete Davidson.
He was playing Pete Davidson.
Did you ever see?
Yeah, but he's playing Pete Davidson as a dickhead.
Did you ever see like the movie where he like is playing himself, or like
Bodies, bodies, bodies.
No, like
The King of Staten Island.
King of Staten Island.
He's from Staten Island.
Yeah. That's-
He put those pieces together, son.
It wasn't easy, let me tell
Did
you.
you watch that, Josh?
I've not, no.
Me neither.
But
I was hoping one of you two had us to say.
Have you ever seen that? No.
That's
Not
kind of
well,
like
not
a
better,
serious role
Yeah,
he took on,
yeah.
where I don't know if he did well or
Yeah.
not. I never watched it.
all right, hey, before we run out of time, let's do ratings.
but- Well, last week we went one of these directions, so let's go the other direction.
Yeah, last week we went Jack to me, so we'll go Meaty Jack.
Meaty Jack. Ooh, my favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
I would give this movie a solid 5. I would say for what it was going for, it accomplished it. I just think it leaned too far in the comedy direction, I guess. But maybe that's what they wanted, you know? So
It has
don't
to
know.
be meta, Josh. Zoomers can't take anything that's too real.
yeah.
They'll freak out.
Yeah. This was one of those horror movies that could have been, if there wasn't so much drug use and swearing, it would have been PG-13. You know what I mean?
It wasn't PG-13.
No.
Oh, jeez.
No, they swear a lot. They're
Were there
doing
boobies?
Cocaine.
No.
There were no boobies,
No.
but it was rated R.
Yes.
For cocaine use?
And swearing.
And blood.
How many
There
swears
was
are you allowed
barely
to have?
any blood. You can have one F word if you're a PG-13 movie.
See,
Is that true, or
Did
is
you
that just
notice
something people say?
on the thing that has a cutout and says "This is not a safe space"? It's heavily
wanted-
laden with the.
To talk about that, but
Yeah.
it's too late. I would give it a solid 6.38. I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the film. It is what it is. I don't know. I'm not gonna be like, oh man, you gotta watch this. But you know, there was some deconstruction of the social zeitgeist that I appreciated that we didn't get into. But yeah, 6.384. Jack?
I agree. It did deconstruct the social zeitgeist. Quite a bit. I concur. And I think it did so without getting all over it. Sorry, you'll have to bleep that one. But
As if he does.
Um,
Has. Recently.
It's 6.5. It kept me watching, which I didn't. Usually these type of movies, the new, punchy, like trying to, draw you in Hollywood big films, I usually get really bored of.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think in that realm I'd give it a 6.5.
Gotcha.
A solid 6.5, and I would say obviously 30-something dudes aren't the
Target audience.
of this film, so.
That's probably true.
And hey, merch is in, baby.
Free speech protected.
Free speech protected.
Reppin'
With what?
the
More
production.
free speech.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, have a good whatever day it is out there.